Hey guys, we recently had some storms come through and I thought it was a perfect opportunity to show you how to create an emergency stove, whether you're camping, hiking, or if you have a power outage. And one of the key components to make this emergency all-purpose stove, that can be a heater, it can be a stove, it can be light, it serves all three purposes, is using this right here, a common everyday pencil sharpener. And I'll show you exactly how to use it and put this together. It's really simple, and it's something that you can put in a pantry, a backpack, and forget about for years until you need it, and then it becomes extremely critical when you have one of these little small portable emergency stove heaters and light. So I wanted to give you just a close-up of this pencil sharpener, and it's really just a pencil sharpener, the kind you probably used in school. This has a 2-size pencil sharpener, but this is one of the key components to making this portable stove, and it works really great. You can keep this in a small bag or in your hiking, camping, or emergency preparedness kits, and this right here will be the key way to make this particular type of stove. So I'll show you. I'm going to go out in the yard and collect a few more sticks. As you can see, I've got some here on the table, but we need some very small sticks that will fit in the end of this pencil sharpener. Now, I've went around the yard and I've collected quite a few sticks from tree branches, and I can tell you one tip that I've discovered is to use sticks that are a little bit more on the green side. The drier your stick, the less effective it's going to work. So you want something that has a little bit of green left in the bark. You don't want to pick something up off the ground that's dried, because it's going to break apart when you go to put this together. And when you put it into the pencil sharpener, it won't create the right type of wood shavings we need. So you need them to have just a little bit of green left in the bark. So you might actually be able to cut a few off of limbs, but you can sometimes find a fallen limb and use those, as long as they're relatively small, that will fit in the pencil sharpener, and also that are pretty straight. They ought to be perfectly straight, but just relatively straight. Now, my wife was sweet enough to buy me a drill recently as a gift, and I really like it because I've always had just the plain Black & Decker drills, but I have so many Black & Decker batteries and other equipment, that's what I've always bought. But this one is really nice. If you like a really quality drill, I'll put the link in the description, but I'm really happy with it. But I'll have to find out where she bought it. I believe it was on Amazon. If not, you can get it at your local hardware store, but I think at Amazon you're going to get a better price. But anyways, you're not forced to use a drill. You can do this by hand. So if you were out in the forest and all you had is your trusty pencil sharpener and your survival equipment or your camping equipment, or if you're doing this for prepping, if you don't own a drill, you can just do this by hand. So as you can see, you're trying to create a very thin piece of wood, not hard to do. It just takes a lot longer by doing this by hand. But as you can see, you're creating this type of wood shaving that burns extremely well. There's one more important component we have to add to this before we put it in our burning chamber. So this is what you're looking for. But I'm going to do some quick drilling with the drill and show you how well it works. A lot faster. I would recommend wearing a pair of gloves, because when you're dealing with these sharp edges, you just don't want to take a chance. So again, wear a pair of gloves unless you're doing it by hand and do it very slowly. Another tip for using the drill is don't put it on maximum speed. You just want it barely moving and putting a little bit of pressure. So after just a few sticks, we've got a nice little collection of these wood shavings, and these are going to burn extremely well, but there's something we have to put them in or combine them with so they won't burn up in a matter of seconds. We want this to burn for about 2 to 3 hours. So there's an added component we need to add as our ingredient mix to prevent it from just burning up in a matter of seconds. If you set this on fire, it would be gone in probably 2 to 3 minutes, but we want to extend the burn time of this to 2 to 3 hours. Now, I'm sure one of the questions that pop up will be, what type of wood should you use? This is actually pine, and these are actually hardwoods, various hardwoods where limbs have fallen, and I've cut a few directly from the tree, so you see a little bit more green bark there. But I think pine may work extremely well if it's not too dry, because you have certain resins in the pine that will help it burn. So I'm taking pine and hardwoods, and I'm going to do a mixture of the two. Now, as you can see, there is still some green around right below where the bark is, and that's because we had a tree fall and we had some very large limbs fall. So I went and found the smallest pencil-sized limbs that I could get to create this particular type of heater, burner, light, and we're going to, like I said, we're going to mix the two together. Now I want to talk about stove size for your particular needs. If you're just needing this for a small light or a candle, you can use something as small as this. These stainless steel containers are great. I purchased them off of Amazon. They do come with a small rubber gasket that you need to remove because the top of this will get pretty hot. So again, you can use any type you want to. You can go up to something like this, an unused paint can. You can purchase these online. Fill it up with a mixture I'm going to show you how to produce, and this will put out quite a bit of heat. If you're going to use this inside, you need to use it inside of a fireplace or on a stove where you have a ventilation to the outdoors. You could use something like this. This is a part of a 3-piece set of stainless steel containers. You can fill it up, and this will absolutely not put off any toxic fumes as far as the container. The paint can, sometimes paint cans can be made out of certain materials or metals that might release a particular type of gas, and that's why it's so important to have safety equipment, carbon monoxide detector, smoke detector, a fire extinguisher. Have all of those on hand. Don't ever do anything with fire unless you have all of those. And again, you have to have ventilation. If you're inside of a vehicle, you're going to have to crack a window, because I think I read a comment where someone said the camper that they purchased actually said you needed to crack a window anytime you were using the gas stove in that vehicle. Now, another thing you can use this particular for isn't necessarily just for stove heating and light. You can also use something like this, a disposable paper cup, as a fire starter. Of course, you don't want to burn the plastic lid, but you could fill it up and keep the lid on it and just mark on the outside exactly what it's for as an outdoor fire starter. Or even in your fireplace, you could do that, but you would just do the same method I'm going to show you in this small container. You would do it in this cup size, and this would be able to start a pretty large fire. If you had some dry firewood without kindling, this would act as a great fire starter if you didn't have one handy. So you're not limited in size. You can go from extremely small to a lot larger depending on your particular need. Now, we're using a very specific type of wax. It's not just a general wax. This burns cleaner, beeswax. It burns cleaner, it burns longer, and I think it's really better to use this. Now, you can use any type of wax you want to for this type of stove, but I would recommend beeswax. And again, everything I'm using today, I'm putting a link in the description, especially my Dr. House stove. I talk about this all the time, about how nice it looks and how well it works. Now, I've cut the heat down on low, so I just want to slowly melt this wax in our container. Also, you just want to be careful about overheating it. So you just, like I said, you want the stove just as low as it will go. So you want to slowly melt this wax. And again, beeswax for me is my preferred media to make this, but you can use whatever type of candle wax you want to. But again, I think this works best. So the first little emergency stove heater and lighter I'm making is with a can of tuna, and we can always use this for our army of cats we have around here. So I'm going to open this up, and it doesn't leave a sharp edge. That's the great thing about this particular type of can opener. You don't have to worry about sharp edges when you're dealing with this can, since you're not going to throw it away. You're actually making it into something useful. Now, a lot of people are surprised at how this works. You think you've not actually opened the can, but when you discover that how much safer these are, they don't leave sharp edges. It's very smooth edge right there, so you don't have to worry about anybody getting cut. If you use this or put it in a pantry, if somebody's a little careless, there's no sharp edges. Okay, so I've rinsed the can out well, and we want to remove our outer label because this can will get quite hot and the label will melt. And you want to try to remove any glue if possible. So you may have to take a razor blade and do a little bit of scraping there to make sure there's no glue on the outside that might put off any kind of toxic fumes. So that's what you need, something as small as this can. Remember, you're not limited to this size can, but just for this video, I'm making it just specifically for this particular size, something you could throw into a backpack, some camping gear. And also I thought about, well, what if it's really hot and you're just using this as a cooking stove, not necessarily a heater, and you're afraid your wax might run out from excessive heat? You can get those plastic lids that are specifically made for different things, and you can usually buy them in sets. So if you don't eat something in a can, you can put a lid on it, put it back in the fridge. So that's something you can consider doing if you're afraid that your wax might melt and leak out. Now, the first thing you want to do is probably put in your hardwood chips first, or your shredded, and you want to kind of pack it in there tightly. Now that we have the safety can opener, we don't have to worry about sharp edges anywhere around here. So when we're working with it, I would highly recommend getting one of these if you are building things as a Faberware, and I'll put a link to the description. And unless you already have one, I had never used one of these until recently, and I'm really happy with how it performs. So let's put our first layer in there, and we're going to make 3 layers here. So the first layer is in. We're going to take some of our hot beeswax, try not to let it drip all over the place, and then just cover this all the way around with our beeswax, and I'm sure I'm going to have a mess on the table to clean up later. Allow that to dry, and then we're going to put in another layer of hardwood, and then we'll finish it off with our pine. All right, so as you can see, I've allowed this to dry. We're going to put in our second layer, and I'm going to probably top this off before they do that because I want the wax to be very high on this layer, and then another very thin layer, and lastly we'll top it with a super thin layer of the pine resin or the pine shavings. So now we have 2 layers of our hardwood, and then the wax is almost to the top. There's still a little bit of a gap there left. So we're going to add lastly our pine shavings in, not a lot, but pine shavings have certain resins in them that will help them to burn even better. So I'm just going to kind of pack that tightly, press it down on top, and then I'm going to come in with one last layer of wax, which is starting to harden, so we need to get it in there quickly. Let's see if we can do this without making too big of a mess. So there you have the final stove heater lighter, and I'll show you some ways you can assemble it, but this is just the basic system right here. You can just light this and it'll put out a lot of heat for anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. Remember that wax quality has a lot to do with burn time, so I recommend beeswax because it's going to burn the cleanest and the longest. Now obviously these pieces of wood shaving will put off a little bit of smoke, so again there has to be proper ventilation wherever you light this. Alright, so let's light our little mini stove here, and again you need good ventilation for this. You can light it with a match, it just takes a little bit longer to get it lit. Now what I've done here is I've set the small tuna can on a much larger tomato sauce can, and I've wrapped that can on top here. This one right here has been wrapped with a stainless steel mesh and then just a large tuna can. So we actually have a heater. The longer this burns, the better flame. Once the wax burns off a little bit, you'll get down into that hardwood and it will burn even better. So we're in the initial stages of the burn, and it is putting off a nice bit of heat, a little bit of light, a little bit of a slow start, but it just has to get rid of that little bit of wax. I may have overtopped it with too much wax and not enough of the pine shaving. So anyways, this is the beginning of our heater here, and it's slowly heating up the room. This is a very small room, and it's putting out just a little bit of light. So I wanted to give you a close-up shot of this, and again, safety is paramount. You want to make sure you put this somewhere where it's not near any type of fabric or anything that might possibly catch fire. There's always the chance of tipping it over, a spark flying, possibly a small ember shooting out from it. So just remember, you want to do safety first. But anyways, this is the initial part of the burn. It's burning quite well. It's putting off just a little bit of light, and as of right now, no smell and no smoke. Now what I've done here is I've put a plant stand, and I put a small metal container on top filled with water or half filled with water, and then I elevated our small burning stove on top of a mason jar so we can get the flame as close as we can to the can. And as you can see, there's a little bit of steam coming out the top of the can, and I'll show you. You can actually cook on this. You just need the right things. This plant stand is great because you can unscrew the legs and you can take it off and you can set it back up. So something like that, as simple as a plant stand, you can turn into a portable stove. So I'll give you a little bit better view of the boiling water here. It's coming to a nice slow boil, but it's burning really hot, and so it makes, like I said, a great portable stove. So in a previous video, everyone asked me, how do you put this out? It was a different device I had made, but on this one, it's super simple. Just make sure you keep the lid. You don't have to worry about any sharp edges, because if you use the right type of can opener, there's no sharp edges. You're just going to take that and drop it directly on top. Now, when I first started, I mentioned you can also make a fire starter out of the same idea. I've taken this paper cup here and I filled it nearly full with our shavings. I'm topping it off with pine shavings. You can keep this in your bag inside of a pantry whenever you need to start a fire. If you have a fireplace, it also works great there. Also, you can use this plastic lid to keep it covered, and just whenever you need to use it, just remove the lid. Make sure you mark it on the side, fire starter, whatever you need. So we're going to melt some wax, pour it in here, we'll have just a portable fire starter I can throw in my backpack whenever I'm on the go. Now the last demonstration, I wanted to show you this unused paint can. You can buy these online. Never had paint in it, so you don't have to worry about any toxic paints or anything like that. But we've melted the remainder of our wax, and we're just going to pour it till we fill about halfway up. It's very hot, so be careful with it. And we're going to let that fill about halfway up and let that finish boiling off there. And then we'll have an extra large heater that we can light once this cools. It's very hot now, but then we can seal it up, put it in our camping gear, or put it in a pantry whenever we need an emergency fire starter. It'll work great. So I wanted to give you one last demonstration of how this works. Same formulation, the wood shavings and the wax mixed in together. Super easy to light. You can light this with a candle or a handy torch like this. It burns quite well. It puts out a lot of heat. This one puts out a massive amount more heat than the tuna can, but of course it takes up a lot more space and it's easy to put out. Same method, you just take the lid, slip it over the top, oxygen is taken out, and your fire is out. So guys, I've got a lot of cleaning up to do. I've spilled a lot of wax here and there, so I'm gonna have to take a razor blade and remove it all. But again, this is just a super simple way to make a heater from something as simple as a tuna can up to these small paint cans, and it only involves just a few ingredients, so it works quite well. So if you like this video, I hope you'll leave a thumbs up, and if you really like the channel, I hope you'll subscribe. So guys, I really appreciate you watching, and have a great day.